Hello.
Happy Wednesday. How are you?
I'm really good. It's even though we're stuck at home, it's like Wanderlust Wednesdays. So I'm dreaming of all the places I'd love to be in the world right now.
Ooh, I like that. That's super fun. Yeah, there's a lot of places. What came to mind for you today? I'm curious.
Usually I spend my summers in Barcelona and then I like
What?
rent a car and drive into the south of France. It's like so easy to do there. And so I'm feeling a little sad that we're not able to do that this summer, but my heart's there and I can smell it and because my whole career is in beauty, I actually use the world as my palette. I call it my global palette. My GPS is my global palette system. So I create a lot of products inspired by these places I travel to, and so I can actually, smell and taste, some of these cities. And Barcelona's coming up today.
That's so beautiful. You should do some sort of meditation and I mean, it sounds like it just comes to you naturally, and I love that.
Yeah.
And you guys are all, thank you for pressing play, and you're hearing this, and maybe you think of where you'd want to be. Wanderlust, right? Like think of where you want to be. So I can't wait for everyone to meet you because we were speaking before we hit record, and just your energy, your how you show up, all you've accomplished. I cannot wait for you guys to meet our guest. Please introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I love your energy, and I feel like I resonate with so much of everything that you are doing with Two Word Story. I'm Shalini Vadhera. I'm the author of a book called Passport to Beauty. You'll understand my lust for the world. I literally traveled the world and got the best beauty secrets from every country. Went on to create a lot of beauty brands that really celebrated the world and the diversity, and then went on to create a women's platform called Power Beauty Living, which was all about powering up your business, your beauty, and your life. That's now turned into a nonprofit,
Wow.
and just launched a new brand called Ready Set Jet with the mission to use beauty as a vehicle for global change and to really help empower 100,000 women. It's a massive goal, but I feel like through my journey of the highest highs and the lowest of lows, I've really taken everything I've learned and I want to pay it forward now with a purpose-driven brand and really use beauty as, a vehicle to give women the opportunity to live their best life.
Oh my, and you are and will do this. Like this is you've experienced so much. There's so much richness to your soul, and your strength is really, it's so wonderful. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with the mindset community, sharing what your mantra, your 2 words are. So take it away if you want to share what your 2 word story
So
is.
for me, my 2 words are self-talk. I really learned this. I went through a really difficult time in my, entrepreneurial journey. I actually started as an entrepreneur at 19. My dad sent me to India. I grew up in San Diego
Yeah.
with a plane ticket and $2,500. I hysterically cried on that flight, thinking they were secretly arranging my marriage, but they were. My dad really wanted me to be an entrepreneur, but I was really in love with beauty. And my very first job was at a Clinique counter using Q-tips and cotton balls. Had no idea what I was doing, but the next day got a beautiful bouquet of flowers and a card that said, "Thank you so much for bringing back my wife. She had cancer and you put a smile on her face." And that was literally the day that I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life was, knowing the importance of self-esteem, growing up being bullied because of just looking different. I knew how important it was to look and feel good. And so that really started me on a path of beauty. Broke into being a celebrity makeup artist, started going on television talking about beauty, got a book deal, launched my first brand in Sephora QVC, never met a woman in the funding room or the boardroom, ended up going against my gut, rule number one. Partnering with the wrong partners. There was a lot of really inappropriate behavior. So had to try to, find a way out of that whole situation. And it just devastated me professionally and personally, and somehow awakened this really interesting spiritual side of my life. And I was introduced to a woman who introduced me to Archangel Michael. And next thing I know, like, feathers are showing up on my airplane rides on the tray tables. And, an attorney I'm working with is named Michael, and he's wearing Archangel Michael's pin. And then out of nowhere, I moved to LA and I meet this Korean master. And, 2 years later, I'm called to Sedona by his people. And on my way to Sedona, my car struck by lightning. And I'm holding my phone. I cannot make this stuff up. And my phone is plugged into the car, and the charge goes through my body. And when I get to Sedona, the Korean master is waiting for me, and he looks at me and he said, and he had a translator, and he said, do you know why I called you here? And they had called me because they said my purpose was coming at the speed of light, but I didn't have enough energy to support it, that he needed to charge up my energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I started laughing and I said, yes, to charge. And I'm thinking I just literally got an electrical charge. And he's like, that was for you. That was for your brain. These are the next 4 things I need you to do. So he gave me these 4 things, and I had to do some hikes, and I ended up getting crazy messages. But the most important thing that I took away from that weekend was positive mind equals positive life. And you have the ability to control your entire story, and that is through self-talk. So if things are not going well for you, you can immediately change that by just changing the story you're telling yourself. And so that was a very big tool that I put in my toolkit. And that weekend he said, the 5th thing's your homework, you'll know. And sure enough, at the end of the weekend, I knew that I had to create this community for women through Power Beauty Living, that I could share the mentorship for women, by women, beauty, so you have this confidence. And then what are you doing for 30 minutes a day to have this kind of warrior mentality? And again, that's where self-talk comes in. And it's something that I have noticed that when I have been in positions where things are just shit. I remember I had a big launch event, and it was supposed to be sponsored. And like 2 days before the event, they called and they're like, you know what, the sponsor dropped out. Here's a bill for $32,000. And I'm like, oh, this is like so effed up. Like, oh my God. And I was so pissed. And I was like, F, and I like literally got the flu, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is gonna happen. There's like 350 people coming. And I remember reminding myself that self-talk was going to change everything. And I drove myself to the beach with a fever. And I just said, okay, universe, like if this is for my highest good, like show me, and I will do it, and I will do it joyously. And if it's not, I will just call the whole thing off. And I just remember this like gust of breeze came, and it was like change the energy. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So came home, and I just put like as much joy and changed my entire self-talk around the entire event. And I'm like, this is going to be the most amazing event. And this is why I'm doing it, because there's 350 women that are coming that are looking to be inspired, they're looking for a like-minded network. They want to meet each other. And so the sponsorship's going to come, not a problem. And I kid you not, we raised all the money in the 2 days following that. And the entire event was covered, and it turned into a great press event. Like 42 PR outlets came to cover the launch of this platform, and it could not have turned out better. And so it's just a great reminder for me, and that was many years ago, that every time I feel like I'm going into a place of doubt, fear, lack, just insecurity, I have to really be mindful to sit down and switch the story through my self-talk.
Wow. I'm not laughing because I'm just like, your story is incredible. Like, it's so, so inspiring. Like, and so real. Like, those examples of how down you were in those moments,
Oh, I don't think people, I'm sure people have experienced this, but I literally physically felt like I was going to break from the sadness, the grief, the stress, everything that I was under. And I'm so grateful for, my father always says, because we're from India, that you don't choose your guru chooses you. Now, I've grown up following an Indian guru since I was 2 years old. But once I moved to LA, out of nowhere, this Korean master comes into my life, and it gives me the gift of just this war chest of, tapping, all kinds of modalities to really go out there and live life in the best and strongest way. And I think self-talk is such an important, part of your daily arsenal of power, being able to and just power up your own energy in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really take yourself into the most worst negative place, or you can take yourself into the most empowered place by just the stories that you talk to yourself about every day.
Oh my gosh, 100,000,000% on that. And you are just speaking the truth of, a lot of what I share as well. Like, how quick is it that we go down that negative rabbit hole? I say, like, it's like, change the channel as quick as you can, because you have the power. Your mind is such a powerful part of your body. It controls so much of us. So
It does. You being so, in tune spiritually and everything that you do, you understand that it's also a part of manifestation,
oh
it's
my gosh, 100%.
so you can manifest the worst as much as you can manifest the best. It's up to you.
And it's the self-talk and what's going on, what's spinning in your mind, what story, like, this is not meant to be, I'm the worst, I'm bad at this, or no, change the channel and find, like, you went to the ocean, find those things. No, make yourself a list. And this is maybe a call to action to everyone watching, because write self-talk on the top of your journal pages and make a list of things that allow you to switch your self-talk. Like, we have to know how and what allows us to change our story too, because it's not, sometimes it's easy, right? And sometimes it's not. But like, I love that you gave that example, that you got in the car, you drove to the ocean, that nature, that ocean speaks to you. I am out in nature all the time. I look up to the moon for answers and for guidance and speaking to the universe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. The universe is powerful. So
Healing.
find what you connect to, right?
Even if you can't get to nature, like, I have a lot of friends that got stuck in lockdown in like apartments, in big cities, and they couldn't get outside. And, one of the things that I would tell them is, it's okay. Sometimes I just envision a stop sign. Like, I catch myself. I mean, it really is a lesson in living mindfully, right? How do you just not get lazy and just go into this? Because I'm the biggest woe's me storyteller in my life. I could tell the worst story for myself and go into this like, oh my God, the world is ending. But, I need to sometimes really catch myself. And by doing that, I just envision a stop sign, like right in front of my face, like, stop. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you're right, stop. And then take that turn.
It's so funny that you brought up a stop sign too, because strangely enough, so I'm avid. One way that I release is a workout. So even a workout in your own space, like, it's amazing how much you don't want to do it, but the moment you start sweating, creative ideas flow. It's a release. Like, your body is literally releasing any stress or anything that so I mean, that right there, working out, I try to work out every day, but during my run, I came up to a stop sign, and I come to this stop sign every single day when on my run. But for some reason, the other day I looked at it and I was like, the word top is in the word stop. And so I thought to myself, you do have to stop in order to make it to the top. Like, if you stop for a moment, isn't that weird? Like, a weird play on that one word.
Like, I mean, there's signs everywhere. There's literally signs everywhere.
Yeah, so crazy. So, and the self-talk that you shared, this mantra, is so needed for all of us, me included, to hear this. And if you guys connect to it, please, by all means, remember it for the week and repeat it in your mind. Allow yourself to really think on the self-talk you're currently using to yourself, right? Like,
like your current story, and like, how can you change it? How can you make it a happier story?
That's
or
so
a positive story? Or like, where do you really want your story to go? I always look at the sky. You look at them. I love the moon. The moon's like one of my most favorite, rituals that I have. I absolutely love moon energy, but I look at the sky as my movie screen. And then I remind myself, I'm the producer, the director, the actor, the writer, I'm everything. And this is my screen to create the life that I want. And I can really play out my stories there. So that self-talk can create an entire new story, no matter how outlandish. I mean, I do it in the car. I haven't been driving as much on lockdown, but in the car, I role play. People must think I'm crazy talking to myself, but I'm literally like acting out these like new stories that I want to like create in my life. So
I love it. I love it. Like, this is just, and it's funny you're laughing, but I do the same thing. This is not something I've always done. I'm so grateful for this opening of, mindfulness and being able to be open to talk to your angels, your spirit guides, your, the energy in the sky and the universe. Like, that really can help you connect so that self-talk can be a better story because everyone has so much to offer, so much light, so much love, you know? So,
It's really getting into that mentality, and also, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So I actually love what you're doing. I think it's such a source of inspiration and a great, community to be a part of, because there are a lot of women that are looking for tools but just don't know where to go for it.
yeah, no, same, same. I'm just so grateful we came together, and I'm going to be sharing all of your information so you guys follow and get inspired from all that you're doing. And thank you for coming on and recording your 2 word story.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And yeah, we'll definitely take any support with this new initiative with the new brand Ready, Set, Jet. Really great product. And of
Good.
course, we want to give women that are disenfranchised as much opportunity as we can and get them out of the slums and get them into living their best life.
Agreed. The mission's absolutely fabulous. So you guys click around and look into it, and reach out if you would like to, learn more and everything. And remember, self-talk. Remember that mantra and the meaning behind it.
Yep.
All right. Sending love. Bye, everybody.